Swami. Thanks, Mass Innovation, for having us here. We are The Things. We are a career advancement service for aspiring young professionals who are disconnected. Now, what that means is they may not have direct experience in the industry that they want to be a part of, or they may not have a strong professional network. We started this, every good company should have some big numbers. We started this because there's some big bad numbers right now for young people. Post-recession right now, 1 in 7 young people are not in school and not working. An additional 4.7 million are underemployed, and the annual cost to taxpayers of this population is $93 billion. The reasons for this right now, as we're starting to see pickups in hiring, a lot of employers are talking about skills gap. Skills gap often ends up, you talk about mathematics, science, all the STEMs, but there's also an interesting disconnect. Right now, 80% of managers are concerned about the skills gap, but only 40% are actually doing something about it. And when you ask employers what's most important in hires as they're looking at people coming out of colleges, at the bottom of the list are job-specific skills, the lowest thing. The highest on the list are attitude, soft skills, but yet they aren't hiring that way. And that really ends up costing both companies and individuals. Because 89% of the time when a new hire doesn't work out in the first year, it's not because of hard skills, it's because they didn't have the attitude, didn't have the soft skills to be able to be an effective performer on a team. So why hasn't anyone bridged the gap? We think it's a short-term focus on companies, their business, and the economy and society overall. Right now, efficiency is driving resume screeners. So everyone's heard about the resume black hole that, if you don't have a specific keyword in your resume, you don't even get past that first screen. And in network hiring and referrals, generally a pretty good way to find good employees, but there's a challenge in that right now, not just right now, I will always be a white male, I think. And the New York Fed says that because I'm a white male, there's a 70% chance that if I refer someone, it's going to be a white male, probably in the same socioeconomic base as I am. That's a problem in a diverse economy. What we want to do is open up access to people who should be considered because they do have the soft skills, they have the attitude to grow long-term at a company, but right now these processes means that they aren't getting considered. So our approach, we want to build an online marketplace for jobs where that initial consideration is based on who they are and how they think. For job seekers, we use a 360-degree career review where they can identify those soft skills, leadership characteristics that really define how they work and how they think. We give them their own online profiles, their own a supplement to their resume. For companies, we're matching jobs with individuals based on their match in terms of these longer-term personal characteristics and work habits. Our system is built around these 18 things. We looked across industries. We looked at those types of skills that show up most often across industries. We help people identify which of these really define how they work. And I'll talk while this plays, if this plays. So I'll talk while this doesn't play, and I'll talk louder. Basic idea is, from a candidate side, we'll help you discover things about yourself that you didn't know as a young, aspiring professional. Maybe I am all about initiative, certainly not ability to use technology and videos, but maybe it's a flexibility initiative in my ability to communicate. I can market that, find jobs where companies are looking for people with those skills. And from a company side, what we're doing is we've got a full applicant tracking system. You can post jobs, find candidates where, where their personal characteristics make them potentially an ideal candidate, not just for today, but for the next 5 years. And we do that for $75 a month. And that's our revenue, and that's who we are. So we think it's not about what you've done, we think it's about what you're going to do.
Fine.
2 questions?
Hi, so there are obviously a lot of job boards. How do you get companies to go to your job board versus
If we realized how many job boards there were out there when we started this, we might have done something different. So really what we're trying to do, we're trying from a candidate side to identify those great candidates that, maybe graduated from a great four-year school, good GPA, but ended up working at Starbucks for the past 2 years because they graduated in the workforce where there weren't jobs. We want ultimately those types of people to start using our platform, and then we're going to bring them to companies and say, you would never have considered this person, but bring them in for an interview and talk to them. It's a really big step, not as easy as I had hoped it would be, but part of it is ultimately looking at companies' self-interest. I mean, there is that gap between how they're hiring on hard skills versus what they know to be most valuable. And if we can show that we can bring candidates who are defined by those things that are most valuable, then I think that's the story we want to get out, and that's what we want companies to discover us. But it's a challenge.
Do you already have companies using your service right now, or are you still in the beta? Do you have companies testing it for you?
So we have companies testing our service right now. We've got a few kind of in stealth that are looking at candidates. And right now, while I said we're $75 a month, right now for companies that are willing to consider candidates, we will give free access to all the job listings for 6 months. Hopefully, as we start to build that company database, we will have great candidates come to the floor that want to work at great companies like Progress Software. So, just put that in there.
All right, great.
Thank you.